Hello and welcome back to another book review. This is probably the most hyped book that I have ever reviewed on my channel, and that is Wilder Girls by Rory Fox. I have seen this on so many most anticipated of 2019 lists on BookTube, so when I saw it pop up on a Bookish First raffle, I jumped on it and I was really fortunate to win it in that raffle, so I got a chance to read it early, and this was, it was a lot. So if you don't know, this is essentially a gender-bent Lord of the Flies. This all-girls school had a breakout of a strange disease that left them quarantined on their little island as what they call the tox took over. And it seems maybe to develop differently in men versus women. And you get a deeper look to that as you continue. This follows three girls, Hedy Bayat, at least I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Spelled like that at any rate, and Reese, three friends who are essentially trying to look out for each other throughout the entirety of this. Only Bayat goes missing, and it's up to Hedy and Reese to find her and maybe find out what happened and why the tox is there in the first place. Now, the plot for me took a little bit to pick up. It seems like the first 50 to 60 pages are really just setting the tone and setting the scene. It's a very creepy tone. It's a very creepy scene. I will say, if you don't like creepy things, this will not be the book for you, because this book I like to call YA body horror, because the things the author describes happening to their bodies is beyond disturbing. I think the worst for me is our main character, Hedy, who is basically has lost her right eye. It has fused shut so she can't use it, but she begins to feel something moving behind her eyelids, and it's not her eye, and that but there's a lot of that kind of thing where what it describes happening to the girls is disgusting and a little bit terrifying. And so if that's not your bag, you're probably not going to enjoy this all that much. And in general, I feel like this book will be fantastic and loved by the readers who like a very specific kind of thing. No one in this book, or for the most part, no one really comes out looking like a purely good person, because of the situation with struggling to survive. Almost everyone is basically an anti-hero at some point. Everyone willing to do something that might screw over someone else to save someone they care about. So you're not really going to feel very good about any of the characters as a whole. There's always going to be some level of, ooh, you probably shouldn't have done that. I will say, I don't know if this is a series or not, and that should have been an easy question to figure out, but like nothing on the book says book one of this series, and I went and tried to Google it and nothing on there says book one of this series. So this might be a standalone. If it is, then a lot of questions are left unanswered. The ending is very open-ended. I won't give away too much, but basically, while there is a tiny amount of explanation as to what the tox is and what it does, it's only very little. And if this is a standalone, it might just be something you have to live with. Although in this market, I could easily see a second book getting picked up, or an entire series getting picked up. As far as the characters are concerned, I think Bayat is probably my favorite, only because there's such an interesting psyche below it all. She seems very optimistic and very helpful on the surface, but underneath that, there's maybe something a little bit more. I think I looked more forward to her parts or her points of view more than anything else, just for the sheer intrigue of the kind of things she thought and what she did, and oof, the things she did. But that was definitely my favorite. I will say I enjoyed the FF romance. However, probably not as much as I could, because you can't have a super warm fuzzies romance in a book like this. Like I mentioned before, everyone's basically anti-heroes. But that might have just been what I was in the mood for when I was reading this, because I'm like, I wanted the warm fuzziness, but it's not the warm fuzzy romance. It's I love you, but everything's horrible, and I don't know how we're going to move past this romance. I did like Reese, and her mutation. I guess they don't call it that, but it's basically a mutation. It was interesting. When the plot did pick up, it really picked up when Baya goes missing and all of that goes down. All the secrets are revealed. There was a lot of late in the game plot twists, a lot of reveals about who characters were or weren't, and where characters were or weren't, and what actually happened to Baya and all that kind of stuff. Now, the plot twists weren't too crazy, at least for me. There wasn't too many, oh my gosh, I had no idea, it's out of left field, but they were a nice little swerve. You never fully knew where the plot was going to go or who characters were until it was fully revealed. In general, I would say that this book would be great for those who like intense kind of dystopians, or who are interested, have read Lord of the Flies or know about it. But for me personally, I give it about 4 stars. I think I would have liked it more if either A, things had been explained more, or B, we knew that it was a series. A lot of it wasn't explained, and granted, a lot of it wasn't explained in Lord of the Flies. If you've ever read that, you'll know that at the end, they kind of hint that the boys getting stranded on the island wasn't exactly an accident, and this is actually part of a larger experiment. I was kind of hoping that this book would focus more on that aspect, more on this might be a conspiracy, but I did enjoy it. I would highly suggest it if you like really, really intense, everything's gone to hell and people are mutating and this might be the end of everything kind of books. Don't go in expecting a bunch of happiness and upbeat, positive characters. But if you like that kind of thing, then you will love this book. And if you don't, you will probably hate this book. I don't think this book is going to be very accessible for people who don't already like what it's about. But that's my take on it. It's also a lot shorter than I thought it was. I don't know how long the hardcover is going to be. This one was 354, which I don't know why it felt shortish to me, but that might have just been me. I've been trying to read a lot of books in a short amount of time, so I've been reading a lot, so maybe that's why I felt like so fast. But in general, if you like creepy, disturbing things, you'll probably like that one. Even if you don't like YA, you'll probably like that one because it is creepy and disturbing. You'll remember that I said that I don't like really fancy boarding schools in my books I won't read list, but I do like them when they go crazy. And this is that. So I enjoyed it very much. I think you might too. So go check it out. It is published July 9th. I believe you can pre-order right now, or you can just wait until July 9th. Either way, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.